Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Automotive Insight. Today we've got a 2017 Toyota Sienna with the 3.5 V6, aka the 2GR, and the customer would like these spark plugs replaced as a matter of preventative maintenance. So, let's get to it. So, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull this engine cover off. It's just held on with some little pop things. We're going to do this without pulling the cowl off. You can pull the cowl off. I've done it. Honestly, it doesn't seem to save you much time doing it either way, so we're not going to do it. So next thing we'll do is we'll get working on this air filter stuff. The two hose clamps that are here and here are 10 millimeters. There is a vacuum line here and here. There's a purge valve line that's not in this tube that it just kind of snaps into the top. So anyway, let's get working on that. Two clips here. Get this vacuum line off. Get it out of the way. Get our PCB line off. Get it out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this mass airflow sensor. Hey guys, while I work on taking this air filter apart, I wanted to let you know that if you ever have any questions about torque specs or wiring diagrams or anything like that, you can always check out our friends at emanualonline.com. And we're talking OEM manuals, the same ones that they're used at the dealerships. Emanualonline.com is a partner of ours, and right now if you use discount code AutomotiveInsight22, you'll get 22% off. So check out emanualonline.com. Do yourself a favor. When you take these things off or take them loose, they have a tendency to want to pull this nipple out of the little receiver thing. So go ahead and fix that while you're thinking about it, because it's frustrating to get this thing installed again and be trying to tighten that thing down and not do anything. There's a connector for the mass airflow harness on the air filter housing. It's two. You kind of push it from the bottom. You can get it from just by pulling on the top of it, but sometimes you'll break that ear off. All right, so now we'll go ahead and start working on getting our throttle body off. It is held on with 4 10mm bolts. We are going to leave the coolant lines attached to it. Up to you if you want to disconnect the connector on it. It does give you a little bit more wiggle room. But you don't have to do it, so we're going to kind of play it by ear, but we'll get those off. While we're here, we'll go ahead and get our purge line off of our purge valve, get it out of the way, and we'll get this vacuum line here. Whoa. Oh, that's right. I'll undo it right here. And we'll take that off with the intake. And we'll get this other PCB hose out of the way here. We'll disconnect this VSV. So on the back side of the intake, behind where the throttle body was, there is a bracket here with two 12s on it. This upper part of the bracket is slotted, so you don't have to take that all the way out if you don't want to. So I usually just take it all the way out, and I'll just crack the bottom one loose. So get to that. Before I get this intake or the plenum off, I want to blow stuff like this off so I don't get anything in it. Plenum is held on by 7 12mm nuts and bolts. We're going to take these two studs out. They are E8 E-torque spits. Now, if memory serves, there is a big junction of vacuum lines on the back of this thing, I think. So we'll be kind of wary of that taking this off. Oh, I gotta undo that purge line.
That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Sure. So if you look over here on this side, that is what I'm talking about. So I'll pry on that kind of beige looking part and get it off. And we'll undo the one little line that's on it that goes up to this VSV, and then we're done. We'll pull this off. So now we got a rag over our intake. Everything's going to be hard to film because I didn't take the, or for you to see because I didn't take the wiper cowl off, but the coils are in the back. There's one, and that's by the high pressure fuel pump. There's the middle one, and then there's the last one. So we'll get working on taking these connectors off, and then the coils themselves are 10 millimeter bolts, so we'll get those off. So I kind of just blew over this because we had switched camera angles. The spark plugs are standard 5/8, and it's worth your time to use about 6 inches or so worth of extension on it to get you over. You can use like 4 inches worth, except for right here is some kind of a baffle or something for the PCV system, and that kind of gets in the way. But about 6 inches, 7 inches worth or so. This is a magnetic socket. You don't need that. But anyway, so that's the back. We'll go ahead and we'll get our plenum back on. And for the one dude in the comment section on another video that just went apoplectic about not using a new plenum gasket, we have a new plenum gasket and we have a new throttle body gasket. So let's get that on. Fancy new plenum gasket. We'll go ahead and get this back on. And I'm going to run it kind of on the side here so I can get the that vacuum hose assembly thing back where it was. Where would it go? And we'll hook that little vacuum line back up to it. So that's what the vacuum setup should look like in the back. That goes on that little connector back there on the back of the plenum, and that one little vacuum line plugs into the nipple. So we'll go ahead and put our plenum back in place here. I like to kind of just make sure it didn't fall in the process. We'll go ahead and get our 2 studs back in place. So before we get the plenum hooked back up, or the bolts back in the ceiling side of the plenum, we're going to go ahead and get this bracket hooked back up. The whole reason that I don't leave this bolt in here, even though that thing is slotted, is because it usually hits this pipe for the vacuum, what's it called? The vacuum pump. So, but this way you can move the plenum around a little bit to get it to line back up. I just want to get it started. A little little wiggle there. So now we'll go put our plenum bolts back on. Another thing to keep in mind is try not to mess with this PCV hose right here, because I have had instances before where I'm trying to put this thing on and it moved up underneath here, and you're like sandwiching it down into the plenum. All right, so the torque spec on the plenum bolts is 15 foot-pounds. You treat it just like you would a cylinder head or something. You work your way from the center out. Now we'll go back over here and we'll get our rear bracket tightened. I don't know what the torque spec is on it, but tight. So let's get our new throttle body gasket on. Get our throttle body back on. And before I do that, what I like to do on all cars that I do spark plugs on is I like to clean this throttle body. So let me do that before I get this installed. Throttle body torque spec is 7 foot-pounds. So you can get that.
When you torque it, you're supposed to hold it for a few seconds because the bolt portion could release and not be torqued correctly.
Yeah. I usually use a 1/2 inch impact on it. All right, we'll go ahead and start putting our stuff back together here one by one. Now I'm not torquing this. If you So that's everything there. Now we'll work on the easy stuff, and that's the ones that are in the front. All right, we'll go ahead and get our cover back on here. Maybe. There we go. All right, let's fire it up and see what happens. Check engine light. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap this one up. So parts and labor breakdown. The labor calls for 3.1 hours. The parts, those plugs were Denso iridiums. They were like $18 a piece. There's 6 of them. So figure like $120-ish for spark plugs. And the plenum gasket and the throttle body gasket were like another roughly $30. So you're looking at about $150 worth of parts. You can look around cheaper and find them cheaper, I'm sure, but that's what we used. Overall, this really is not that bad of a job. It kind of looks a little more daunting than what it really is. The V6s used to be a lot worse. This one, with all things considered, is not that bad. You do have some more room if you take that cowl off of it, but I don't see the need to do it. And that's just more stuff to have to take off. Whatever time you might save working on the back without the cowl on it, I feel like is lost in the amount of time of taking the cowl off. But if you want to take it off, I'm sure you can find a video of it. Matter of fact, I think we did a video on a Venza that should be very, very similar to this. So you can go check out that video if you decide you want to take the cowl off of it. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap this one up for today. Hopefully, we earned a thumbs up from you. Let us know what you think down in the comment section. We have new content for you every single week, so consider subscribing to the channel. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
I'll pick you up at 8. You probably won't be awake. Call yourself an Uber, babe. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
We have an audience for this one. Hey. I don't want him to attack me. Now's the part where you tell me I have a booger.
No. I think